Sudan's Humanitarian Crisis by Manad Afasid. Due to its geographic location, Sudan is a country in northeastern Africa, sometimes referred to as the Heart of Africa. A protracted humanitarian crisis marked by political unrest, armed conflict, economic hardship, and environmental degradation has beset Sudan. The Rapid Support Forces and the Sudan Armed Forces fought a civil war most recently. This video will look at the origins and effects of the humanitarian crisis in Sudan, as well as the international response to it. It will also critically evaluate the efficiency of the current interventions and their lack of urgency. I will also share my personal viewpoint on the situation and make suggestions for how to deal with the problems that the Sudanese people continue to face. First and foremost, the crisis has been primarily caused by political instability and prolonged conflicts. Tragically, Sudan has endured decades of internal strife, resulting in the Darfur genocide, the civil war in South Sudan, and persistent tensions across the nation. Human rights violations, displacement, and widespread violence have resulted from these conflicts. For almost 30 years, Umar al-Bashir presided over Sudan as its president. He was first voted out of office by the people in April 2019 after a military coup took him to power in 1989. While the protests were going on, my mother was in Sudan, and she sent me images and videos of the people there demanding that he step down. The same militant organizations that shattered Sudan's peace continue to cause issues to this day. In addition, the crisis has been made worse by economic issues such as elevated rates of poverty, unemployment, and underdevelopment. Sudan's pervasive poverty and inequality have been exacerbated by economic mismanagement, corruption, and a lack of funding for social services. As a result, a sizable portion of the populace struggles to make ends meet and becomes dependent on humanitarian aid. Since Umar Bashir's overthrow, Sudanese citizens have been striving for a democratic government. However, the nation has once again found itself in difficult circumstances as a result of the avaricious and power-hungry generals of the militia groups. There has been a power struggle in the nation between the Sudan Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces. In 2021, Mohamed Hamadan Dagalo, also known as Hamedi, the leader of the RSF, and General Abd al-Fattah al-Burhan of the Sudanese Armed Forces formed a coalition to overthrow the previous transitional government. Both armed forces have frequently used heavy explosive weapons in crowded civilian areas since the fighting began, which has led to a large number of casualties. To make matters worse, the RSF is notorious for enlisting young Sudanese men and threatening to kill them if they do not join the organization. The current ongoing humanitarian crisis that Sudan is facing is also a result of failure to protect and provide a stable government. Sudan wasn't a fair democracy when the country attempted this under the leadership of Abdullah Hamdok and the Transitional Military Council, but the killings of protesters were still carried out. Hamdok did not last long, and this brings us to where we are right now with Sudan. Sudan's foundation has always been rocky, but now that the cracks are so big, the country is literally cracking. Women are being raped in the streets, children are murdered, and the elderly and young alike are killed. There is no concern for safety from the RSF or SAF besides total control. Medical facilities are being demolished and doctors are being arrested and killed. The sexual violence increased as people fled and the militias invaded cities. The perpetrators specifically mentioned their ethnic identities and used ethnic slurs while carrying out the attacks. My opinions on this crisis are personal. My mother is currently on a flight to South Sudan to see my grandma. As of this recording, she's already there to see my aunt and children. They are among the millions of other Sudanese that have been displaced since the fight for power has begun. As someone who is ethnically Sudanese and has a family that is currently in Sudan and a family that has fled, as well as another family that has been displaced, this topic and the ongoing crisis are extremely important to me. As objectively as possible, I believe the world has failed Sudan. Umar Bashir wreaked havoc on the people of Darfur, to the point of it being labeled a genocide and accepted by the UN themselves that he was a war criminal, and yet that was in 2008. That man remained in office until 2019, when he should have been behind bars since evidence of his ethnic cleansing of the people of Darfur was exposed. When you hear about world atrocities like these, it's easy to feel powerless, and that's why I feel like every day something new comes out, whether it's the kill counts, sexual violence, or another family having their son snatched away to fight a losing battle. The best thing people outside of Sudan can do is pray, if they're religious, and stay informed. Knowledge is power, and when you live in a nation that has a democracy, take advantage of that opportunity, because it's not a luxury everyone gets to experience. In conclusion, there are numerous components to Sudan's continuous issue, such as political unrest, economic hardships, and the deeds of some of the country's leaders that create a climate of vulnerability for citizens. Achieving a ceasefire and addressing the underlying issues of the crisis are essential first steps toward long-term peace and stability, especially in conflicts involving the RSF and SAF. This will call for coordinated measures to pursue those accountable for atrocities against Sudanese nationals and to advance peace through diplomatic negotiations and international mediation. Nevertheless, it's crucial to understand that ending Sudan's crisis will require years of consistent effort and all-encompassing strategies that take care of both the country's pressing humanitarian needs and its underlying structural problems. This involves making steps to fortify the government's stability and increase its ability to withstand future hostilities and military sieges. Thank you.